Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sketch Magazine Podcast. My name's Robert. I'm here with Chris Dreier.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Bob.
And how you doing, bud?
Pretty good.
Good?
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
So today we're going to discuss on building that fan base. And I know in past podcasts we sort of hinted around that we're going to get to this. I don't think it ever stops once you begin. But let's tackle, why should you build a fan base? If you're going to create a comic book and you're going to hand it over to a publisher, you have Invader Comics to agree to publish your comic, or you have whatever publisher to get your foot in the door. Why should I bother? They're going to publish it. They're going to stick it in stores. I'm done. I go make more comics.
Right. Yeah. I wish it was that easy, but I don't know how it was in the 70s or the 80s if you got a publisher. And I'm
Are
not
you dating me back then, Chris?
That was me too.
I
was
really
more
bad.
The
late 80s. Wait a minute. Maybe mid 80s, late 80s.
I was 90s. I know. That came out terrible. I guess I was trying to make a comparison with how things have changed. You'll edit this out, right? Right?
No,
okay.
It's too good. No.
All right, that's great. Yeah. What I meant to say is like now publishers, they do their, depending on the publisher, they do their promotion for the book, but publishers also have other books. Like for example, Invader has at least 2 or 3 others, and they're searching for more. But right. I guess what I meant by saying 70s and 80s is that today it's really kind of on the creator, to go out and promote your book, sell your book, right? Create a fan base. And yes, that is why it's important to do it, because like Invader's sharing my stuff constantly. Every time I share, every time I post something, and I share what they post, but still it's on you as the creator to do that.
Yes, I agree. And that's sort of why I went there.
Right.
I think nowadays, and this could be even with mid-range publishers like Image, and I don't know if Image is mid-range or top end now. I don't know. But like Dark Horse and IDW, those guys, they're going to do their job. Their job is to take your book, get it distributed, get it in the market, get it printed, pay the bills.
Right.
If they do shows, they'll take it to shows along with every other book. It really is the creator's job to build that fan base, and you want to build that fan base. I know I have dropped off at times from working on building a fan base or keeping up the fan base because of other directions I've gone in, starting stores or whatever. And that was silly. That was stupid of me. You need to constantly keep in contact with them. And the reason you want to build them is that is your buyers. When you can go to a store and say, yeah, I've got 10,000 people reading my online strip, and now we're going to print it and publish it through a publisher. I sell 1,000 copies digitally on Amazon now, and we're going to do this with it. I think it adds a lot. It shows those who may purchase it to put it in a store. It may show a publisher that you're out there building it. But financially, let's get real. We all want to make comics, and we want them in the comic stores. But at the end of the day, there's no money there. At the end of the day, all the steps from you to getting that eats up the profits. It eats up the printing costs. The publisher's got to make money. The shippers make money. The store's got to make money. So with all the discounts, you hope you get copies to sell. At the end of the day, what are you going to do with those copies if you haven't built that fan base?
Right. Yeah. Sit at a table and at a convention, and if no one
at people walking by.
Yeah.
Hey,
been there.
Hi. Yo, yes,
yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
At some big cons, I've been there.
But even if you don't have a publisher, if you like we had talked in a previous podcast about solo studio or publisher or self-publishing, all that kind of stuff. This
Right.
is across the board. See, you had said, "Oh, I have a web comic that's got 10,000 reads." Well, if you have that, you've built a fan base.
Yes.
And how do you
Yes.
do that?
Right.
So I'll let you go first.
So how you build that fan base, and even then, if you decide to publish online, you cannot depend on that platform to get your readers.
Right. Not
It's
just
like
that platform. Right.
No, you have to. It's just like waiting for a comic shop to sell your books. It's not it. You have to take some steps, and these steps. It's a constant job. It's a constant work to build that fan base. And the reason you want to is because of building an overall fan base. You hope to build that core fan base. That, let's say, that key 100. If you had a key 100 that would spend $100 a year with you, whether it's the comics, the merch, supporting you through Kickstarters, whatever they're doing, if you had that core 100, you just made $10,000 that year. So I think everybody's key is to build a large fan base to help you further your fan base, but then stay in front of them and try to build that core 100. Now, I didn't answer. How do you do that?
No, we haven't yet.
No, I'm going around it.
All right, I'm waiting for you to start.
Okay. Of course,
but you're right about the core. Right.
Yes. I think it starts with the simplest thing that we do almost every day, and that's social media. You've got to start there.
Right.
Yeah, our aunts and uncles and grandparents and everybody follows on social media, and we share pictures and what we're doing now. But our fans also. I know you have been successful with Facebook, and so have I. But you've taken Facebook to another area.
Right. I started. Okay, let me start. Like you, I also kind of fell off the consistency with posting and creating, and part of that might have been the pandemic.
Right.
I know that. Well, what do you mean? You were home all the time? Yeah. Well, after a couple of years, it kind of starts to. The books weren't coming out because.
Right.
I'm not the only one who had a rough year and a half or 2 years on some level.
Right.
But what I find is with Facebook, I think I hit the groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups because I've got a lot of like friends, almost like 5,000, but what percentage of them are interested in either the art or the book I do, or just padding their numbers as well.
Right. Another thing is how many people actually see that. When you say you got 5,000 friends on Facebook,
it's like tiny.
Do like 50, 30 see it?
And in the beginning of Facebook, all 5,000 people would have probably saw that.
Yes.
But now their algorithms aren't. I don't fully understand what they did to change it, but now a small fraction. But with the groups, what's great about that is you can find a Facebook group like with Freaks and Gods. I use public domain characters. There's a lot of public domain Facebook groups and a lot of people who are sharing their versions of these characters and what they've done. And a lot of them are just an appreciation. So like, oh, I love these characters. And oh, here's somebody or a few other people who are doing other things with them. So what you don't want to do, and I never did this, is you don't want to jump into a group and then just start bombarding them with buy. Everything I can't say not everything, but a majority of the posts that I do in these groups are artwork based. I sometimes will link, in my case, to where you can read about that public domain character, along with a link to whatever it is I'm like a Kickstarter, or my book is in previews, or I have an Etsy store. But I always try to put something there that is, for the people, even if they just want to scroll by and look, because this is hard to get in my head and I'm still working on it. But even if they just look at the art and they see the name and they see it again in a day or so, hopefully that'll just kind of build some familiarity. I can't even say the word. I'm mumbling the word. they'll get used to you. How about that?
Yes. There you go.
It's like 11 in the morning, and I feel like I like drank and I can't say words.
Oh no.
True Wisconsinite.
So, but yeah, just repeating. It's like anything. It's the reason we see
Mhm.
billboards. It's the reason TV ads work. Just putting it out in front of them in little bits, not
Right.
begging for money, not saying, hey, you know, I need you to support me, or I'm not going to be able to go to McDonald's this morning. All we're saying is, say, check this out. Oh,
Right.
here's a behind the scenes. Oh,
Mhm.
hey, we just did this. I just did a Q&A recording for Camelot Forever, the novel, and it's just answering questions. The whole thing is just keep people involved.
Right.
People likes to
And,
support creators they like too. You gotta always
Right.
remember
See,
that.
no, that is something I have learned primarily because of you, Bob, that people want to follow artists and creators.
Yes.
And like you said, one day I might not be doing Freaks and Gods, and if I'm doing some other book that I've created, I will have to literally start over. Because if I only
Yes.
promote Freaks and Gods constantly, right? This is what you taught me.
Yeah. Yes.
Then I got to start over. But it's like, oh nope, Chris
Yes.
Dreier. Now he's got some other book. Let's see what other crazy
Yes.
nonsense he's come up with.
Well, that's the reason I spent so many years promoting Blue Line, and then I spent so many years promoting Sketch Magazine, and then the Skystorm universe. That when I'm not, you know, I'm not really involved with Blue Line as far as day-to-day operations, and Sketch sort of faded away, even though we're getting ready to do a Kickstarter. It's sort of like, wow, I should have been spending myself my brand, and then this is what I do, you know, because I do comics, I do write novels, I am going to produce and create and publish video games. So it's sort of like you got to build your brand on you, and it's no different than any famous author out there, Stephen King, any of those guys. They're going to build their name, and then this is what I got out now. This is what I'm doing now. People like to support you. They may not always enjoy, you know, my comic book fans probably aren't reading my novels.
Right.
The novel readers probably aren't going to read the comic books, and neither of those two may or may not play the video games. That's why you build the brand.
Right. Exactly.
Which is you.
Right. And it all can tie in. I just started YouTube channel where I'm doing speed art inking, where you can, it's not super fast, it's not like you blink and it's done, but and I'm just showing literally page, panel by panel, sometimes character, depending on how long it takes, of Freaks and Gods, which is currently number 8.
Right.
But I think, well, there are people who are interested in learning how to ink and use software, and I personally enjoy these kinds of videos because I learn a lot from watching people. I don't necessarily need a voiceover. Right. So what's happening here is people who watch that, some might want to look into my comics, and some people who might be reading Freaks and Gods might be interested in. So they're not like 100% from one to the other, and that's important.
Right.
You know?
Yes. No, you're absolutely
one other
correct.
One other note about the Facebook groups before we move on, because this is really important. I think I mentioned you don't want to just go in and just drop a lot of stuff. You just want to like break it up and just give them something to look at. You also want to be a part of the group.
Yes.
Like when I say, oh, I'm browsing Facebook, really what I'm doing is I'm going through the groups. I'm looking at stuff. I'm liking. I'm personally not. I don't really comment a whole lot. That's just me. This is how I am. I mean, I'm trying to work on that in this day and age, but sometimes I'll come here and there, but I do like, and I do give it a thumbs up, and so that I'm active. And I think that's important too, because then people will,
it is,
that's very important. I think. And I try to do that with every single group that I'm a member of, just so I'm aware,
Right.
So that's important too. And it sounds like doing a lot, but it really isn't. I mean, you can do it on the phone while you're watching Wheel of Fortune or something. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know.
What are you doing watching Wheel of Fortune? You're supposed to be making comics.
Oh, well, that's right. I don't know what people do. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Chris mentioned this channel. This is on Nostalgic Network. So if you go down below, we have a list of favorite channels. Chris is there. Click on it. Go over. Subscribe.
Yes, please.
And watch his videos.
Every Wednesday, I have a new video out.
Okay.
That's the day
we've
I
talked
pick.
about doing some basic clip studios in some of these videos, right? Where you share your screen, do some intros.
I think we might do that next week. I think that was the plan.
I think that's
because
awesome.
you wanted to learn how to do some stuff. So I think
I want to learn personally. I have the software, and there's some things that I'm going to do 8 illustrations for the hardcover of Camelot Forever and Lancelot's Redemption, and I like to get my hands at digital inking those. It may or may not work, and I might come back and hand ink them because it's faster. Well, I like to try. Yeah,
right.
I like to try and give it a shot.
It'll be a lot of fun.
So
a lot of fun.
It will be. It will be. So yeah. So Facebook has a lot of avenues. What they've done, they've tightened Facebook down so much that they want you to spend money. And like you said, originally every 5,000 people saw it, and now maybe 50, maybe 30 people see it. But if you buy an ad, a whole bunch more people see it. That's where they really monetized Facebook, and they start narrowing down who gets to see your stuff. Reaching out to groups is a great way.
Yeah, I have boosted posts from time to time that rather than create an ad, I see a post that did, okay or well, or just a post that was like, I think really, says what I need to say, and I'll just boost it. And, I'm talking like $20 for like $15 for 10 days or something. And it really does. I mean, it goes up, the clicks go up, the views go up. So obviously it works, but I don't do it all the time.
No, I don't either.
No, with the groups, I mean, I'm hitting some really good numbers on impressions and likes and some good clicks, which is great, which is the whole point of it.
Yes, it is. It's also a great way, like when you have something special to promote, like you've got your Kickstarter coming up. So that's a time to really hit a boost or promote. We have the Sketch magazine coming up. We'll probably do the same thing.
Right.
Within Facebook, do a little
Speaking of my Kickstarter, by the time this is out, it will already be running.
Okay.
Yeah. Starts the 18th. 2 days.
Have they got it okayed yet?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, that's sort of weird. The Sketch one was supposed to have been okayed by the 14th, and I still have not got approval on it yet.
Yeah, really?
So, wow. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I even went in and sent an email, so we'll see what happens. So,
yeah. Well, if it's not, then you know why. Kickstarter either didn't or double backed on it because they added an add-on or something that they who knows what Kickstarter's thinking.
Right. So, okay, but the 18th is the goal for your.
That's the goal, right? Yeah.
Next issue of Freaks and Gods. So,
yep, the Kickstarter in there. Yeah. And yes, that's a good one. Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I'm stoked about that one. Yeah.
Episode or a good issue, correct?
Oh yeah, volume 2, issue 2. For those of you keeping up, that's number 6.
Legacy number 6.
Legacy number 6. Yeah.
Okay, so another way to build a fan base. Kickstarter's one. Kickstarter brings a fan base to them. There's comic book fans that will look for Kickstarters they want to support. I've picked up followers, and I've picked up people who follow us through Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah.
So we've been pretty successful with that. I do, unlike Kickstarter, Kickstarter says they bring at least 60% of the people to your purchase. But because of how much promotions that we do and advertising on a Kickstarter, for us, it's more like 30 to 40%. And we bring the rest. And there's charts back there.
I should go look. I don't remember what mine was. But I did a lot of
yours is more like that. Yeah.
But Kickstarter, I mean, I when I sent out the survey, the backer survey, I added a question if I could add their email address to a mailing list, and that leads into another way to build a fan base or to keep in touch with the ones you've already reached.
Well, that's what is actually that's very important.
Oh yeah.
Let's briefly go over the rest of social media, then we'll come back to that one.
Okay, we'll circle back to that.
Yes, because that is what people are now finding out is so important, is keeping in contact with people directly.
Right.
Because of what we just discussed, how Facebook took 5,000 down to maybe 50 or 30.
Right. Yeah.
They limit us, so then they can try to get us to advertise with them. But if we had 5,000 email addresses of all of our friends. Then we
Right.
could get a hold of them. Twitter's a good one.
Yes. I don't use Twitter a whole lot.
Neither do I, but it's out there and I've got followers and everything. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to be more vigilant with using Twitter. Instagram, the kids seem to be using more than Instagram. The kids,
yeah, I'm
the
much more active on Instagram. Because with Facebook, you can go into publishing tools from your page if you have a fan page, and you can post to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. But you can also, there's a section in that post where you can tailor the text for either Facebook or Instagram rather than having to go to Facebook and then go to Instagram.
Right.
And then Twitter for me is kind of an afterthought. Once I got it all set, then I'll put it up there. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of at the beginning of Invader Comics' last Kickstarter for Volume 2, Number 1, I was hitting Facebook and Instagram, and about 4 or 5 days in, I got an email from my publisher, Mike, and he's like, "Hey, you're really killing it on there, but what about Twitter?" I'm like, "Oh, that's right, Twitter." Yeah, but that is active for artists. There's a lot of people out there.
There is. I mean, you always hear those nightmares of Twitter storms. The
right, yeah,
people ranting and raving. So I just don't contribute to that.
Yeah.
Another one would be Snapchat. You could do photos of stores that carry your books. You can do screenshots of your Kickstarter. You can do images, shots, Snapchat. Don't forget that out there. Of course, if you're into making videos, like what we're doing, there's TikTok. TikTok is crazy.
I have not even touched that.
We've started it with the network a little bit, and we had one video get a few thousand shares. The problem is TikTok can be a lot of work if you're trying to produce something professional.
Yeah.
And it's about a 24-hour cycle, and then you're dead.
Oh, really?
So that video runs, if it gets picked up, it can, because we picked up about over 2,000 hits on the video, and then it's been dead ever since. It's like, so I asked the young guys here, I'm like, what's up with TikTok? Why are we not getting the little bumps like we do on YouTube? They're like, oh no, it's 24-hour content. That's why there's so much content that gets delivered there, because it's just, it's cycle. So I don't know how practical it is to spend a lot of effort there to create content. Of course, YouTube, sharing your process, sharing your studio. It's a great way to keep in contact with the direct fans, trying to build that 100.
Yeah.
So YouTube's a great way. And then we circle back around to email.
Email. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the thing about email is aside from the Kickstarter, I started a MailChimp account, and it's free. I mean, you can there's a pay side too, which has a whole lot more stuff to it. But for my needs, the free version works fantastic. And you can create a landing page which gathers email addresses. And that sounds all fantastic. Like, oh, wow, I'll just put the landing page out there and I have 600 people. No. It doesn't always work that way, because people, they click it, go, oh, okay. And then or else like, I'm not going to give them my email.
Right.
So you got to say, look, I'm only going to use it for this. You know, I'm not in any situation to do anything with it, just to email you about my comic books or my art.
Right.
But there's, I honestly, aside from that and gathering it from Kickstarter and possibly Etsy sales, maybe, I don't really know any other way to get them, unless, I'm sure, Bob, you probably.
No, you're right. The best thing is to put out, you can create, like you said, a landing page. You can also create images and put on web pages that they click. So if you have a website, you can put it and they click on it. But the easiest, MailChimp is one of the easiest. Also, it's one of the most expensive. Like you said, you're running the free one.
Yeah.
We're running the expensive one, the pay for site.
Yeah.
So we spend a good little amount on running the program, but it's a tight program. You can be very creative with your newsletters. They host the images. It's nice. It's real nice.
Right.
And we'll have to get into the whole concept of emailing, because the amount we have over 12,000 email addresses divided out in a couple different, like there's the sketch and blue line ones, and I got personal ones, I got gaming ones, I got my retail, my video game store on there. The thing is, you got to watch is when your stuff gets caught in spam. So
yeah,
all this stuff is a lot of work to learn to do it right. And it's if you got the money, you just pay somebody who knows it.
Yeah.
And you hire them to help you produce the best. If you're like us though, you've got to learn it yourself because you're the cheapest employee you got. I'm the cheapest employee I've got. So, and that's why we're doing these videos to share our achievements and our failures to get people to come on board and create more comics.
So they don't have to repeat what we've done.
Right.
You know, I went from, I think I forgot how many backers I had on my Kickstarter, but I think 60 of them said that it was cool that I put them on my mailing list. So at that time, I'm now almost at 100, but at that bumped me up to like 80 or 85.
See, and I feel like those 60,
you're
building on that core 100,
right?
Because they already supported you once.
They did,
and they're willing to say, "Keep me informed."
Right. And what was nice in my particular case was this was for a Kickstarter for a side book to Freaks and Gods, taking place in the same type universe, but nothing to do with Freaks and Gods. So all these people, I'm assuming a majority of them never read or heard of Freaks and Gods. They just liked Tales of the Dark Tunnel.
Right.
You know,
right.
Which again, it was good for me, but
yes.
So
I mean, the Kickstarter, I feel like you get Kickstarter fans and you get supporters, I should say supporters, then those are core. Those are somebody just randomly saying, yeah, I get all kinds of junk mail. Go ahead and add me to your list. They're never going to, support you. So, but you do want as many as people. You do want to filters out those lists and what to spin a video on how to clean up a list.
Right.
There's different ways. I just went through MailChimp. We'll have to go through the back end of MailChimp. And I just cleaned out a few hundred that was never getting delivered. The addresses were bad now. So, when you got 10,000, that's a lot.
Yeah, that happens.
So they change. Yeah.
Well, what happened, I sent out something for Freaks and Gods, the last Kickstarter, and 2 of them bounced back.
Yes.
Okay. So then I, like 3 days later, I sent another one, not even thinking of that. And then they got delivered.
Right. Well, there's soft bounces, and soft bounces is like, their mailbox is full. And then there's hard bounces, and hard bounces is when it's just not going. Either the email is bad or something's changed. So we'll go through that and how to set that up at some point in time. Another way to keep in contact, especially if you're doing Kickstarters, is to use your past Kickstarter and drop a message saying, hey, we just launched. Here's the link. Be sure to follow us. Right.
That's important too. I did that with Tales of the Dark Tunnel to promote the Freaks and Gods, which I'll do again for this one. So if anyone's watching this who got Tales of the Dark Tunnel, you're getting more. But I remember that I don't want to send something every single day or 3 times a day. So I was doing like every 3 days just to promote that Kickstarter, which only ran 15 days. So really they got about 4 to 5 emails, and someone unsubscribed.
Yep.
So I lost, and my immediate thought was, oh damn, what did I do wrong? Why did you unsubscribe? I mean, it was like 3 days apart.
You can't take it personal.
That's why I'm telling you this story, because that's something I think we really got to talk about when we're dealing with social media building because people will ignore it or not open it or unsubscribe for I'm assuming various reasons, and none of them probably have to do personally.
No. most of the time it's like, I want to clean up my list. I'm not interested in that no more. Unsubscribe. They're not
Right.
taking a shot at you or your
Right.
book. They're not making a statement. They just, it wasn't my
Yeah.
thing. And that's
Yeah.
fine. People, that happens.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, you can't take any of this person. If you take it personally and then you're in for a long road.
A terrible long road.
Yeah.
Okay, now I just thought of another promotion tool that's not necessarily, well, it's like Kickstarter, and I made a mistake with this one, and that is Patreon. Patreon isn't necessarily a social media tool to build a fan base. I went on there thinking I could social media the crap out of things, and then I could build a following on Patreon. But it doesn't work that way.
Right.
I learned. I had 5 or 6 patrons. 3 were my friends, so I really only had 2. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not going to go do Patreon. I'm going to stick with Kickstarters and YouTube for that kind of content. But it is a way that if you've been on for a while and you're looking for a way to, that's an instant connect with fans.
I think you need a constant. I think it's like, I don't know. It's like Instagram or Facebook. You need to constantly be putting content out, whether it's to the pay side of it or the free side of it. We have a Patreon for Nostalgic Network, but it's not going nowhere. And I don't know if we'll really ever promote the heck out of it. But the video game studio is another beast.
Right.
We're using the Patreon sort of as our beta members.
Okay.
For the video game studio. And the reason I bring that up is that we're starting from 0 as far as fan base for the video game studio. Creating a video game is much like creating a comic, except it's a whole lot more expensive. And you got to bring in some really dedicated programmers and everything. So what we're using Patreon for is for our beta members. Once we launch that, probably this fall, we'll really be posting there a couple times a week. We'll be exclusive content hitting it as far as character designs, levels, discussions. We'll go and do live streams there that will then later be published out for everybody else, but the beta crew will get it first. And unlike most things on this is where they only want to give you digital content for trade for your monthly subscription. We're going to give you a physical thing every quarter. And every quarter, if that you're a Patreon member, you may get a trading card or you may get a print, and this is all shipped to you.
Right.
So but these are higher price, tiers. There's different tiers on Patreon. These are low, higher price tiers, but the Patreon for us is helping us fund us to help get the game out.
Right.
But you're also going to help be the initial testers. You're going to see behind the scenes. You're going to be there as we grow and build this.
Will they be giving?
I think.
Will they be giving their opinion of it and
we'll have
constructive
chats,
criticism that they can?
We'll have
that's pretty
live.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have live chats. We can have open chats where people will come in. We can do Q's and A's. So yeah, there's a lot that we're going to package around the Patreon page. I think you could do that with a comic, but I'm going to try it. But I have other people who's going to help run that.
Right.
My son Clay, he's probably going to run a lot of the Patreon stuff and keep it up. Make sure things are getting posted and grabbing items, getting it on there, keeping it alive. If you're an indie creator, your first job is to make that comic.
That's right.
If you don't make that comic, you're not doing anything.
Right.
And all your social media, all your email list, all your patrons that you create, out the door.
Right.
Because you're not going to deliver a product. So your first job is to get your comic done. Second thing is build that fan base, however you can. And then I say third is how you're going to deliver that product to the market.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Right in the middle of this, my wife's texting me. She's on her way home. I hope she doesn't walk in.
Hi, Amy.
You're not allowed to watch it, but hi, you're on. Just kidding.
That's right. You've been banned.
That's right. What was the last thing you said? I apologize for that. I got sidetracked by a shiny object.
You squirrel moment.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying your focus really needs to be getting a comic done.
Oh yeah, right.
Building a fan base for yourself that then will support and buy a comic, support you by purchasing the comic or the item that you're creating.
Right.
And the third thing is figuring out a distribution market for it, whether it's self-distribution, online distribution, getting a publisher, which one it is.
Right. Yeah. Do we mention when you're promoting your stuff? And I can't believe I have to say this, but did we mention to be nice?
Yeah.
Do we mention that?
We have not.
Okay, because there have been times people have commented and they would just they slammed the dialogue of my book, you know. And I think some of that comes from they're looking for one style of book, and my book is a different style.
Sure.
I recently had someone make what could be considered a dirty joke about the title, Tales of the Dark Tunnel. And my comment to them was to play naive and silly.
Right.
Rather than just jump on it. It's just be nice, because you know what? You don't want to tick anybody off, because maybe they will absolutely love your book or your strip or whatever you're doing. You know, it's hard though, especially if someone really digs in deep.
It is.
It's hard.
It's hard. And not everybody's going to play nice. There's people that hides behind these cameras or behind a fake photo or whatever, and just gets a jolly for slamming. There again, it's don't take it personally.
Right.
Your focus is your project, your story to tell. I mean, not everybody who wrote a glamoring review for my novel at Amazon.
Right.
We had some 5 stars. We had some 3 stars, which I'm happy, you know. Then we have ones who gave us the 2 stars and wrote a whole novel themselves on how we could do it better.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking you didn't get the gist on how we're trying to deliver this package, you know.
I found a review of I think it was the first issue of Freaks and Gods. The publisher was able to get it in the hands of a 5 review group, which I think that's also a job of the publisher if you have one.
Yes, I do too.
You as a creator can definitely drop some stuff off and try to get some reviews. That's But one of the guys who reviewed Freaks and Gods, he didn't like it, but he got it. He thought writing was good and he thought the art was great, but he just didn't like it, which he said, this just wasn't for me, which any reviewers listening, that's exactly how you approach it. It's not you. It was executed poorly. It was executed well. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, when you're out there and you're putting your art out there, it is like you are putting yourself out there. But remember, it's just
you are.
Right.
These are our babies.
Right.
At the end of the day.
We did talk about consistent, right? About being consistent with your posts.
We haven't. But
consistency is really important, and what I've kind of fallen into is I use the schedule option on Facebook and Instagram quite often. I will get 5 or 6 screenshots, because I just do quick screenshots. I don't export images and crop them. I just use the screenshots.
Right.
And I will schedule these out just as art, linking to an Etsy, or just really sometimes nothing, just art. This is my book.
Right.
And I'll schedule those out for a month or so. And then if something else comes up and you've got to share this, or you've got to promote this, and you share that too, you're actually posting more then.
Yes.
And you're consistent, because even if you don't do those added posts a couple weeks in a row, that every other day post you've scheduled out, or that every 4 days while you're filling in, it's always there. So that's really important to do too.
No, I agree.
Use all of the options, all the tools that these sites and social media gives you. You use all of it. Yeah.
And yeah, it's important to stay consistent, keep it coming, keep the stuff coming forward. Another thing that I've sort of not played upon, but have looked at is these people are supporting you directly. Right. Almost. They're affecting us. Share with them. You know, if you want to share a little family life, share with, limit how much you do. If you're comfortable with that, sure. That's, some people really like that. Some people don't. So I don't care to see your grandkids. Don't look at the post.
Then just right. I actually sent out an update for Freaks and Gods through MailChimp to the subscribers, basically telling them that, gosh, I'm really sorry. The last year was, rough like it was for most people. And but now I'm back and everything's working and we got this coming out. And I didn't put any links for anything in this. Just this, I shared that and that.
Right.
And you do that once in a while,
Yes, you do.
And if and when I get a puppy, everyone's going to be sick and tired of seeing that dog.
Oh, puppy photos. No. No, that's right up there with cat photos. No.
Come on, man. I love dogs. I love dogs. Everyone should love dogs.
Okay. All right. We just got banned from this.
Yeah, video. I know. We just lost they're
gone.
Yep.
Yeah. Chris is pushing dogs. No. So building a fan base is very important. I think at some point we need to come back. I seem to say this a lot. We need to come back.
Right.
There's so many videos that we need to do, is to break these down and really how you can best build a Facebook following, build an Instagram following, build a Twitter following. We're in the process of trying to build a YouTube following and TikTok. So these are things that we can share here that will hopefully help other people do that.
Right. Yeah.
And I know Chris just wrote it down. I saw him.
I did.
So
I wasn't being rude. I wrote it down.
He will bring it back to, hey, Bob, we said we're going to do this.
We have to dig deep in whatever. Right.
Right. Yeah. And just give you more information. We're talking about doing some classes to help with it. I'm working on how to do a successful Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
So once that is done, it'd be probably a month or so. Then that'll be up, and it's just all the steps on how to do that. So we're talking about doing some stuff like that too.
Yep, I'm gathering all my information that I have already for basic digital inking, setting up pages, especially if you're going to use Clip Studio Paint, which a lot of people use.
Yes.
Some of the things that are going to be in there will translate. Like brush settings, it's not one for one, but if you use Photoshop or other, it'll be similar, right? But right now I'm just I have done basics and beginning stuff so many times. I'm just going through everything I have, finding it and trying to put it together and make it make sense.
Yes. Yeah. Are we going to toss some brushes in there too?
Yeah. I actually, in my first video on YouTube, I talk about how I use my custom cross hatching brush to fill in black areas because it leaves white it looks kind of gritty, dirty. I even mentioned that. Yeah, I love that.
I love that brush too. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that class because I'm looking forward to do more digital inks down the road. So yeah, definitely.
Right.
Social media, building fan base, you've got to do it. One thing we didn't bring up, and we'll do this real quickly, is cons. And we probably didn't bring it up because, to me, it's the hardest place to try to build a fan base. Mm-hmm. It's the hardest because depending on if it's a big con and they're there for the movie stars or the actors or the big publishers, or if it's a small con, you probably have a better chance, but the numbers are so low on a small con. Are you going to reach 10 people? And those 10 people, are you going to get one email address? Are you going to get one or two new social media followings?
Mm-hmm.
It's direct conventions. If you like doing them, you can spend the money doing them. You can, it's fine. But as far as building a fan base, it's just not the way to do it. You can only reach so many small amount of people.
I think it's changed so much. I will be honest. I have sold more books through all my social media, through my the Kickstarter, and even though I have a publisher, I still have
Mhm.
sold more books just through my Etsy store in the last week than I have sitting at a convention
Yep.
for a weekend. And Etsy was free. And it's,
Yes.
conventions, the tables could be $100 to $500.
Yes.
So
And then you got the cost of doing the con.
you got to go there.
You know,
Yeah.
you got the travel, you got the hotel
Yeah.
room, you got the food expense.
Right. However,
If
I
you
will
need help,
yeah, right. Got to bring somebody. Maybe
right,
you can kind of con like a friend with like the offer of pizza or
or a
whatever.
child or something. Yeah,
Yeah, I did
yeah.
that. I dragged Connor along that
both,
one year.
yeah, both of my kids have sort of raised up doing shows. Yes,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
did.
Every picture from that con, my son looks defeated
Yes.
and tired.
Yes. My
But
daughter had come out from
yeah,
California and to be going, all right, Dad, how many shows are we doing?
yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
okay,
so,
that's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the one thing I can say honestly about cons is if you've spent the time and let's face it, building a fan base isn't it. You're not going to post for a week and then suddenly have that 100 core and then
No,
have
no,
300,000 people following you. Oh my God.
no.
Sometimes it looks like no one cares,
Yes, you're
but
correct.
just keep going because people will.
Yes.
But if you've already got a good fan base, like the guy I can think of right at the bat, who's a really great guy. I worked with him in the past, Dirk Manning. Always
Yes,
covers
Dirk,
up his face. He's fantastic.
he is.
He has built what he's got, just like Brian Polito. We talked about him. He's worked it.
Yes.
So he does a lot of shows because he has a large fan base, and they come out and they meet him, they chat, and they hang out. So that's different. That's
Yes,
different.
that is
But
different.
if you think that's going to happen because you've posted for a week and you go to a convention with your awesome comic, and I'm not
Yeah.
making fun, your book probably is awesome.
Yes.
It's just getting people to stop and look at it when they've got other things going on, or they're there to
Right.
see, the person who played Ewok 27 in that third shot in Return of the Jedi.
No, you're correct. You're correct.
You know
It's
what I
really
mean?
hard to stop them.
It is.
But you brought up something else like that. You have done work with Dirk.
Yeah.
Another way to get fans is to work with other creators who have a large fan base.
Right. Okay, sidebar.
Okay.
I worked with him when he had no fan base.
Okay.
So some of the Nightmare World stuff that he puts out, like collections,
Yes.
I've done some inking for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, like building your YouTube channel,
Mhm.
you will see where creators who have worked with other YouTube creators pull from that subscription base.
Right.
My youngest, he's big into Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Loves Dungeons and Dragons. Clay does. And so he follows a lot of them on YouTube, and then he supports them on Kickstarter. He buys their books and stuff they put out.
Mhm.
Well, come and find out, one of the popular one that's just launched, I think it was Monday, and like within 48 hours, they raised over $600,000.
Really?
But this guy is friends and works with a group called Critical Role, who has millions of people, millions of supporters. They're the biggest D&D group out there. Does live streams and products and stuff. So it's sort of like if you can get connected or work with some other people, you could draw some of that fan base by exposing them to your content, to what you're doing. So another way of building that fan base is working with some other creators,
Right.
whether it's in video, whether it's drawing, it's doing a piece, doing a chat with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did that. When Kickstarter, I asked somebody to share it. My Tales of the Dark Tunnel. Someone who worked for what was the Alterna? He had a book at Alterna. Great book. That's why I was like, this guy's really awesome. And he said, sure. So he shared it. And then later on, he got a Patreon page, and he asked me if I'd share that. I said, sure. And I shared it on all my platforms, not just Twitter. And then he had a Kickstarter, and then I backed it, and then I shared it on. And he shared my new one. So
right.
It's really literally, hey, this is a really cool artist. Check this new, and then hit send, and
right.
You're helping everybody out.
You are. And I think if you follow us, you'll see that I will share Chris's Kickstarter and Chris may share mine. I
don't know. We'll see.
We'll see if he has the time to do
if
it.
I have the time to hit retweet or
retweet or reshare. Yeah. So yeah, it's important to build that fan base. But I suggest you build it on you. You build it on your brand and whatever you're doing, because comics may not only be the thing that you only ever do.
Mm-hmm.
You may do like what I'm doing, writing novels. You may go off and create an Etsy store and get into crafts heavy. If
Who
you
knows?
you don't know what you're going to do
down
the road. You want to be able to carry that fan base with you, those supporters with you. So yeah, it's important. Stay in contact with them. And that's all I've got.
Aside from repeating everything we've just said, I agree. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's all I got too.
All right. Well, I guess this one's done.
Yeah, we're done.
Put a nail in it.
Yep.
Ship it out the door.
Yep.
All right.
Upload
we appreciate you. Oh, we forgot to self-promote.
Why did we do that? We're talking about promoting and building a fan base.
And we forget it. Yes. So
terrible.
Up above will be the email address. You can send us a question. sketch@nostalgicnetwork.com. That's how you can reach us.
Right.
Chris, how can they get to your stuff?
I have an Etsy store, Chris Dreier Comics.
Yes.
It's all one word. That's where I have the previous books that are out. My Kickstarter is going to be coming out. You know what? We'll have a link down below. I'll send you the link. Right now it's set to bit for reminders, but I'm on Facebook, Freaks and Gods, Freaks and the word and Gods. That's where I post a lot of stuff. Instagram, Freaks and Gods as well. Twitter, Freaks and Gods. Yeah. So pretty much that's it. That's how you get a hold of me.
All right.
Yeah. And YouTube. I forgot my YouTube. It's so new. That one is Chris Dreier, just like you see
and down below
right there. That's it.
Down below in favorite channels will be Chris's channel. Just click on that, go over and subscribe. Right.
Yes.
Hey, where are you doing that? Click on Robert. Go over and subscribe.
Are we in the competition?
We got a little competition going on for these numbers. Now,
I'm ahead by 3.
Yeah, I know. How to keep up with me will be below too. All the links and stuff will be there.
Right.
We have a Kickstarter coming out next few weeks. It features Bo Smith. It's issue 47. We discussed with Bo about how he took Wino Earp from comics to TV. I'm hoping maybe next week I'll be able to do some short interviews that will be released during the Kickstarter with Bo. We'll see how that goes. And we'll see. Cool. So there you go. We have pushed our stuff. We have put out our links.
Yes.
We've done our job.
Like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.
Like and subscribe. Yes.
Yes.
Now we gotta go to work.
That's right.
Real stuff. Yeah,
I gotta go make a video for the Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah.
I gotta go write one.
Yeah. Bye. We gotta get to work. See you later.
See ya. Have fun building a fan base.
Yes, please do. Take care.
See you, Bob.